2 summers ago, my back lawn was a patchwork of bare dirt and yellow, thinning Bermuda, and I'd already spent a few $100s on premium seed blends that barely filled it in. Then I went back to a $2 bag of seed. The big lawn programs quietly stopped recommending in the 1960s, right when annual treatment plans became the business model. 3 weeks later, that lawn was thick enough to lose a golf ball in. Here's the thing. The seed companies don't make money on a lawn that fills itself in and stays thick. They make money on the one that thins out every spring, so you buy more. Stay with me, because at the end I'll show you the exact soil temperature window when this cheap seed takes hold. Miss it by 10 days and you've wasted every penny. Let me tell you who buried this, because it matters. Back in 1960, a hybrid Bermuda called Tifway 419 hit the market. Fine textured, dense, beautiful stuff. But here's the catch. It's sterile. It doesn't make viable seed. The only way to install it is as sod, rolled out by a crew and billed by the square foot. Then in 1968, a company called ChemLawn opened its doors and sold the country a brand new idea. The recurring application program. Pay every spring. Pay every fall. A subscription for your grass. Now follow the money. A lawn that fills itself in from a $2 bag of seed is a one-time sale. A lawn that needs sod every time it thins, plus a treatment program 4 times a year, is revenue forever. So common Bermuda grass, the cheap self-seeding stuff that built half the lawns in the South, got quietly demoted. Open a seed catalog from the 70s and you'll find it relabeled. Not as a fix, as a weed. The same grass your granddad seeded for pocket change got moved to the back of the book with a warning next to it. Here's the thing. That demotion wasn't about performance. It was about repeat business. And the homeowner paid for it. I've watched people in my own neighborhood drop $300–400 a year on premium blends and program fees, patching a lawn that thins out every single spring, when a $4 bag would have filled it permanently, and then filled its own bare spots after that. The thin every spring lawn isn't a problem the program is failing to solve. It's the product. It's what keeps you coming back. Read the label on those premium contractor blends sometime, and you'll see what you're actually paying a premium for. Mostly it's marketing. So let me show you the seed they pushed to the back of the catalog, and exactly how I use it. Layer 1. The seed is common Bermuda grass. Synodon dactylon if you want the Latin. $2 to $4 a bag at any farm store, sometimes cheaper. This is the wild, fertile parent of every fancy hybrid lawn you've ever admired. It comes 2 ways. Hulled, where the seed coat's been stripped so it sprouts fast, and unhulled, which is cheaper and germinates slower and more staggered. I'll come back to that, because mixing the two is a trick most people never hear about. That's the whole secret in the hook. Not some rare imported miracle grass. The plain bag they stopped recommending the year the subscription model showed up. Layer 2. Here's why they couldn't fully kill it off. Common Bermuda spreads on its own, 2 ways at once. Above ground it sends out stolons, runners that creep sideways across the soil and root down wherever they touch. Below ground it sends out rhizomes, underground runners doing the exact same thing out of sight. So once it establishes, it doesn't just sit in its spot like a tuft of fescue. It marches. It fills its own bare patches. You get a thin spot, and within a few weeks, the grass on either side has run right into it and closed the gap. No reseeding. No patching. The lawn repairs itself. Now think about what that means for a business built on selling you patch product every spring. A grass that fixes its own bare spots for free is a threat, and the reason they couldn't breed it out of existence is that this self-spreading habit is the very thing that made the hybrids worth having in the first place. Tifway 419, all of them. They're bred from this wild parent's genetics. They kept the spreading. They just bred out the seed so you couldn't grow it yourself. The fix was hiding inside the product they sold you the whole time. That's the kind of thing that doesn't make it into the glossy spring catalog. Layer 3. Let me walk you through exactly what I did to that back lawn, because this is where you get your golf ball thick result. 2 summers ago, that yard was a patchwork. Bare clay and yellow. Thinning Bermuda, the works. First thing I did was scalp it. I dropped the mower deck and cut the existing turf down to about 1 inch. Bag the clippings. Haul them off. You want it short and you want it open, because seed needs to touch dirt. Then I raked it hard, a stiff rake or a dethatcher, to pull up the dead thatch and scratch the soil surface. That's the step everybody skips, and it's the one that decides whether you win. Seed sitting on thatch does nothing. Seed pressed into soil sprouts. Seed-to-soil contact is the whole game. Then I loaded common Bermuda seed into a broadcast spreader and put it down at 1 to 2 pounds per 1,000 square feet. That's it. You don't need more. Pile it on heavier, and the seedlings just choke each other out. 1 single bag covers several hundred square feet easy. After the seed's down, I top-dressed about 1/4 inch of compost over the top. Not deep. Just a light blanket to hold moisture against the seed and feed the soil while it's establishing. Down here in our heavy Texas clay, that 1/4 inch of compost does double duty. It holds water and it loosens that top layer so the new roots can dig in. Then water. Light and frequent. Twice a day, just enough to keep that top 1/4 inch damp. Never soaked, never puddled. Bermuda seed is small and shallow, and if it dries out mid-sprout, it's dead. Keep it moist and you'll see germination in 7 to 10 days. Little green hairs coming up through the compost. And here's the payoff. Near full density in about 3 weeks. That back lawn went from bare dirt to thick enough to lose a golf ball in 21 days, off a bag of seed that cost me less than a fast food lunch. Most homeowners get this wrong because they spend $200 on a premium blend, and then throw it on top of thatch and water it once. Precision kills weeds. Guessing feeds them. Same rule for seeding. Layer 4. Now here's the part even folks who know the common Bermuda trick usually miss. 2 of them, actually. First, that hulled versus unhulled thing I mentioned. Don't buy all hulled, and don't buy all unhulled. Mix them. The hulled seed sprouts fast and gives you that quick green flush in the first week so the lawn looks alive. The unhulled is slower and staggered. It comes up over the following couple weeks, filling in behind the first wave. You get a quick fill and a sustained fill out of 1 application. I learned that sequencing the same way I built every protocol. By watching what came up and when on a problem lawn that wouldn't cooperate, the way I did with that brutal crabgrass job back on lawn 847. Stagger your germination and you get a denser, more even stand than either seed gives you alone. Second, and this one's a trap they don't warn you about, if you're on a spring treatment program, that program almost certainly put down a pre-emergent. Prodiamine is the common one. Prodiamine works by stopping seeds from germinating. All seeds. It cannot tell the difference between a crabgrass seed and your $2 bag of Bermuda. So if you seed into ground that got a spring pre-emergent, nothing comes up. You spread your seed, you water it, you wait, and you get bare dirt, because the program you're paying for chemically blocked the free fix. Let that sit a second. The application you bought to protect your lawn is the exact thing preventing your lawn from repairing itself for $4. So the season you overseed, you skip the pre-emergent. Don't put it down, and don't let a program put it down for you. Read the label on whatever they're spraying, and look for prodiamine, pendimethalin, dithiopyr, any of the dynes. If it's going down in spring, your seed doesn't stand a chance. And that, right there, is the cleanest example of how the cycle keeps you locked in. The product that's supposed to fix your lawn is built to keep your lawn from fixing itself. Now, before we keep going, I want to tell you about something. If what I'm showing you today is clicking, And you're starting to realize that everything you were told about your lawn was backwards. That the thinning every spring isn't bad luck, it's the business model. Then I wrote the whole thing down for you. It's called Larry's 30-Day Weed Kill Protocol. And Chapter 1 is titled, Why Everything You Know About Weeds is Wrong. That chapter lays out this exact dependency cycle, start to finish, why the conventional approach keeps you buying, and how to break it permanently. This isn't another tip. It's the permanent fix. It's $17 at larrysgardenbooks.com. If you're watching on your TV, grab your phone and point it at the QR code on screen. Take your time finding it. I'll be right here. If you're on your phone or laptop, the link's in the description. All right, back to why they buried this. Here's the math on the suppression, and it's simple. A $2 bag of common Bermuda seed is one sale. You buy it once, it fills your lawn, it spreads itself, and you never come back. That's a dead end for a seed company. But a recurring treatment program plus a sod-only hybrid? That's revenue every single spring. Forever. In 1968, ChemLawn opened its doors and turned lawn care into a subscription. Scheduled applications. Billed on a calendar, year after year. And 8 years before that, in 1960, the Tifway 4119 Hybrid Bermuda was released. Finer blade, denser growth, beautiful turf. One problem. It's sterile. It doesn't make viable seed. You can't grow it from a bag. You have to buy it as sod, laid by a crew. So follow the money. The industry now had a grass you couldn't reproduce at home, and a billing model that depended on you needing service every spring. Common Bermuda, the self-seeding parent that fixes itself for $4, didn't fit either one. So in the seed catalogs, it quietly got reclassified. It went from the cheap fix to a listing under weeds. Same plant, same genetics. New label. Now, I want to be straight with you, because this audience is too smart for a one-sided story. The hybrids are genuinely finer textured and denser. That's real. That's why golf courses and stadiums use them. When you need a putting surface, that cosmetic edge matters. But you're not building a putting green. You've got a thin, ugly, patchy lawn, and you want it thick. For that job, that cosmetic edge does not justify a lifetime of dependency. Here's what it cost you personally. Every spring you reseeded the same bare spots. Every season you paid for a program to patch a problem the grass would have patched itself for the price of a coffee. Years of that. Money you don't get back. For a fix they pulled out of the catalog. Now the part I promised you at the start. The timing, because timing is the whole battle. Common Bermuda seed is a heat lover. It will not germinate in cold soil. The number you care about is soil temperature at the 2-inch depth, and it needs to be holding steady at 65 to 70 degrees, with 70 to 75 being the sweet spot. Not air temperature, soil. And not one warm afternoon. Steady. Here's how you measure it. Take a soil probe, push it down 2 inches, and read it around 9 in the morning for 3 or 4 consecutive days. If it's holding in that 65 to 70 range every one of those mornings, you're clear to seed. Down here in DFW, that lands roughly early to mid-May. Now here's the trap, and it's the wasted every penny I warned you about. Plant 10 days early, into soil still sitting in the upper 50s, and that seed doesn't sprout. It just sits there. Cold and wet, it rots in the ground before it ever germinates. You spread it, you water it, and you get nothing. The program tells you to seed by the calendar. A date on a schedule. Wrong. The grass can't read a calendar. It reads soil temperature, and that's exactly why DIY homeowners fail. I proved this to myself in 2022, running Tenacity and Cool Season Turf. Same product, same lawn, different temperatures. In the heat it failed. Early morning at 70 degrees it worked beautifully. Temperature controls the outcome, not the date. Measure your soil and hit the window. Now you've got the seed and the timing they stopped putting in the catalogs. And if you want the whole self-sustaining system, the part that keeps this lawn thick after year 1, that's Chapter 9 of the book, The No-Weed Garden Year-Round. That chapter is the seasonal calendar, spring refresh, summer monitoring, fall prep, that keeps a self-filling lawn permanent instead of a problem you fight every March. It's the year 2 is easier than year 1 principle, and that's exactly what a self-spreading lawn gives you. For folks who are exhausted by the cycle and want a permanent fix, that's your roadmap. It's $17 at larrysgardenbooks.com. If you're on your TV, go ahead and aim your phone at the QR code on screen. No rush, take a second to pull it up. If you're on your phone or laptop, the link is right there in the description. All right, here's the takeaway. A $2 bag of common Bermuda seed, broadcast into soil that's holding at 65 to 70 degrees, will fill an ugly lawn permanently because it spreads itself on runners and never stops. Now you've got the fix the subscription program's quietly retired, and nobody's billing you every spring to use it. If this one got you, the next buried method I'm covering is corn gluten meal. Dr. Nick Christian's research out of Iowa State turned it into a natural pre-emergent the program guys would rather you never tried. Go check your soil temperature this week. I'll see you in the next one.